that it's been over 2 decades since the UN General Assembly resolved to celebrate the fundamental principles of press freedom and to do so annually.
The main part of the World Press Freedom Day event is the convention, to which the Council has invited media professionals and scholars from all countries.
We here is used advisedly to include the government and the industry about professionalism in the media, the sense of responsibility and accountability of media.
Every year since 2012, the Media Council of Kenya organizes a regional journalists' convention on the 3rd of May during the World Press Freedom Day. Launched by His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta, the 2014 theme of the convention was Media Freedom for a Better Future, shaping the 2015 development agenda.
Kenya takes pride in this day, for this concept was a concept born on African soil, and indeed, it is a gift from our continent to the rest of the world. The Windhoek Declaration envisioned a press liberated from government, political, or economic control. Equally, the declaration stood against monopolies in the media industry and defended the widest possible distribution of media. These are principles to which my government is committed and by which it has lived. That is partly because they are themselves principles within which our Constitution is familiar. Indeed, my government has lived up to Articles 33, 34, and 35 of our Supreme Law.
This year, the Media Council invited media professionals and scholars from Eastern South Africa in the spirit of embracing East Africanization within the regional integration framework. Also present were media and communication practitioners from all counties in the country.
As a journalist, to give credible information, you need to understand the issue you're giving information about.
In any media enterprise, you cannot publish a story that is accusative of an advertiser, okay? So that is commercial interest put before public interest. It is reality.
My mother doesn't know development. What is development in Kikuyu? What is development in Luo? What is development in Uganda? What is development in Kinyarwanda? What is GDP increasing by 6% in Luo?
The umbrella ministry led by the Cabinet Secretary of the Information, Communication and Technology, Dr. Matiang'i, cited the ongoing notable developments in the industry, challenging the media to be more balanced in the reporting of Kenya's achievements.
Your Excellency, your presence here this morning is the strongest possible statement about the government's commitment to supporting the media freedom, and ensuring that the media environment in Kenya thrives and continues to grow in support of our country and in support of our economy. We have completed the development of 4 pieces of legislation that are expected to actualize Article 34 and 35 of the Constitution, and shortly the Access to Information and Data Protection Bill will be headed to Parliament to complete the list of legislations we were expected to enact by the end of May this year.
During the 2-day convention, the focus of discussion was centered on 3 interrelated topics: the role of media in development, safety of journalists and the rule of law, and integrity of journalism. The discussions specifically highlighted the role of mass media in Africa's development agenda through, among other things, examining the media's place in the construction of an African identity.
I would have expected to hear that right now there is actually a new narrative about Africa that is called Africa Rising, where you find all these big media organizations out there have special programs on Africa as the next frontier for business and all these things. So in my view, the question of an African identity, if it ever exists, is a little bit more complex. And in Africa, we need to have a conversation amongst ourselves whether there is actually something called an African identity.
Politicians go out there and make inciting statements. We don't cover them. There is some conflict somewhere in a certain part of the country. We sanitize it. We don't want to show that it is politically related. We sanitized the news a lot, and because of that, politicians had the confidence to go and openly incite people, knowing that we will not cover them on national television or the newspapers.
The media was recognized as a major driver of change and reforms in the Kenyan society. The Media Council Act 2013 allows the media to adopt self-regulation approach in holding them to account and promote journalism profession.
The greatest achievement, in my view, of the Kibaki administration is the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution with Articles 33, 34, and 35 that have provided guarantees for freedom. And it will be recalled that Articles 34, sub-Article 5, is a far cry. It's a real departure from Article 79 that we were familiar with in the old Constitution. We're now in a different dispensation, and the signals may be too early to be indicative. President Kenyatta, the two, has been the most open yet to the media.
The annual Journalism Excellence Award 2014. After intensive 2 days discussions at the KICC Amphitheatre, it was time to unveil the 2014 Best Performing Journalists. This in the annual Journalism Excellence Award, which had a record 1,000 entry.
This year we received more than 1,000 entries, and there was a big improvement in the quality of stories. The quality of journalism has gone high. There was also a diversity of the categories that send in stories. Some of the issues that the country is facing at the moment, the issues of insecurity, issues of economic growth, these were very well reflected in the entries that we got this year. And even though we got many stories on insecurity, it is how you execute that story that will make you a winner. How do you get a complex issue and tell it in a simple manner so that it reflects and it captures the imagination of our viewers?
Two of the entries we've been receiving has been improving quite a bit, and there are certain categories that were pretty clear that we are having an improvement on this. For example, the business writing. I think the quality of business journalism is evident that is really gone up. I think you could also say the same in very clear specialized areas, like environment, that we had fairly good quality work being submitted. And it's something that we need to look forward to, because this sets the bar for subsequent years, and we can only hope for better performance in the years to come.
It was very exciting for us, the judges, to see entries that had come from stations and media houses that are based in the counties and do not even have access to broadcast or to publish even in Nairobi. And that for us was something to look forward to. We couldn't wait to get to evaluate those entries because we wanted to know what are they talking about. And it was very real because they didn't deal with national issues. They dealt with issues at the county, issues that affect the people who come from a particular locality. That for us just brought the story home.
The invited guests that included the sponsors and government representatives reiterated their support for free media and pledged their continued support to the role of Media Council as a catalyst for media development in the country.
I'd like to congratulate the Media Council of Kenya for successfully organizing and hosting these awards for the third year running. Much would have been said over the past day or so about the central role that journalism plays in support of democracy. Knowledge is power, and no one does more than the media to ensure that we have an informed and therefore an empowered society. Responsible and independent journalism is the bulwark of free society. That's the reason your role is designated as the fourth estate, or indeed the fourth branch of government.
But we need to move forwards and change the context of our competition by moving away from competing to be the first persons to break news, beginning to observe two important elements. These are elements of exclusivity and the context. These two will be able to transform our social mission of moving away from the position of East and West journalists to a position where we provide emphasis to significance of stories we tell, where we provide emphasis to the human angle, because what we do, as it was emphasized towards the very end of today, we are in the service of the public.
We have moved to whether or not the media ought to be free, to the question of how we ought to manage a responsible media.
You're my number one, my city number one, my baby, oh, oh, my darling, my tango mama, my city number one, my baby, oh, oh, my darling. Na nina wivu sikatai, maana uchungu wa mapenzi na ujua.